Hello, welcome to my channel, Nia's Nook. As we may all be noticing the sudden shift in seasons and the quick appearance of the new year, I think all of us have started thinking about our 2026 resolutions, our goals, the person that we want to be next year, but also thinking about how daunting it is to get started on those resolutions that you may not have completed this year or you want to start next year. We all have goals. We all have an aspiration, a dream, or even just a silent wish to accomplish something, whether it be to be able to study efficiently, to get a job, to get into uni, to learn how to crochet, or to finish that game that you've been putting off for so long. Most of the time we end up going off track and we sort of hesitate to get back into the habit or to even just get started. As someone who's achieved so many of her goals this year, I know the struggle and the stress that comes with consistency, sticking to them, and giving them a good outcome. It's completely normal and human to feel stuck when you're starting a goal or trying to maintain a goal, especially because it just feels like a huge mountain is standing right in front of you, and this entire goal just feels so difficult to pursue because it feels like there's so much that you have to do. It feels very exhausting to stay consistent, and this is why so many people end up quitting their habits or their goals that they were trying to achieve, and they set their New Year's resolutions which don't do anything because they end up not completing them during the year. But this is where I bring in my idea of embedding goals into your life rather than making it an external thing that constantly bothers you and makes you feel stressed and apprehensive towards starting it. Being realistic is an extremely important part of this process. If you are not honest, true, raw, and unfiltered with yourself about the goals that you're trying to achieve, then it cannot be achieved, because the way that you want to bring these goals into your life is by looking at your own self and making them a part of you, understanding your own limits, understanding what you want to achieve, and breaking them down into small, achievable steps. Nothing comes for free, but there is a smart way of accomplishing your dreams, your goals, and the habits that you want to incorporate into your life in the next year. In this video, you'll be able to get the cheat code to mastering your goals and also getting the fruits of your labor. As the demands of life keep growing and growing, it can be super difficult to find any time to do anything, be it because of studies, work, social life, family, or the area you live in. We become sort of lost in the monotony of life, how repetitive, how demanding it is, but we want to do things, right? We have dreams, aspirations, and things we want to do. We have passions, goals, interests, but what holds us back mostly is how burdensome it feels to stay consistent, or how tiresome it feels to begin the goal. Now, I have to be brutally honest, there is an aspect of hard work that comes with just about anything you do, even if it's something recreative like a game or chatting, socializing, something like that. It all requires some kind of energy, some kind of output, and that is like inevitable. So that's something you should be expecting, but it depends really on the type of goal and the type of job that you want to pursue. For example, if it's something smaller, then you can incorporate it into your daily life and give yourself target days. Make sure that it's not consuming your life, but it's become a small part that has been embedded into your life and it doesn't feel like a burden on you. Whereas on the other hand, if it's something that's major, that you have accepted that it's something that you need to put in a lot of effort into, that's great, and you should be able to know how to block your time to achieve those goals, which I will be discussing soon, how to stay consistent. But it's all about accepting and making peace with what is required of you to achieve those goals. If you're worried about staying consistent, just know that not every day is the same and it might look different for different people. One day you might be tired, the next day you might have extra energy than usual, one day you might just feel neutral. So it's better to change it up and vary the things that you do each day, or the timing or the amount of work that you put into your specific goal, so that you can avoid the monotony, you can avoid feeling bored or burdened. A reason why people detach from their goals midway or at the start, just detaching it in general, is largely due to a lack of motivation and also excessive loitering in your comfort zone. I feel like if you spend an unnecessary amount of time in the things that you are familiar, comfortable with, in that zone that doesn't make you challenge yourself, you can't change yourself. Because obviously, how can you become a new person when you don't change who you are? The reason why people can become better is because they have to change systems in their life to attain the quality that they want to have. So it's the same for objectives and goals. If you want to achieve something, there has to be a new input or some more input. When you start a goal, I really recommend writing or just taking some kind of silent oath. And the reason why is, if you do it, then you accept that you put in the work. And you set a clear intention as to why you're doing this goal, why you want to accomplish this goal. There's no really a correct answer for your own why, because your why can look different to someone else's why. It really just has to be something that is a motivating factor. So whenever you think of giving up, you think about this why. For example, I think I started running maybe a year or 2 years ago. And so at the beginning, I was growing steadily, like my habit of running was increasing. But then I think after 2 weeks, I was just thinking to myself, I'm not getting any better at running. Running feels tiring. Running is, I don't know why I'm doing it. And that's very dangerous, right? Because I was about to give up until I realized that I haven't set a clear expectation or a goal for my running journey. So what I should have done at the beginning was maybe write down on a piece of paper, in my journal, anywhere, what is my reason for running? And personally, I think it's to maintain my health, to increase my stamina, and also because in Islam we believe that our body is like a trust from God, an amana. So I was just thinking to myself, well, I want to take care of my vessel, I want to stay healthy, and I also I guess it's a good skill to have in life. It's very important. So by having that motivating factor, that reason, that helped me to keep pushing, because I know that obviously when you're in the moment of pressure, when you're running, you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to stop, it's so tiring. But that's why I think it's extremely important to have a motive, so that whenever you feel uncertain and on the brink of leaving this goal and just quitting, it's important that you can think about your why, your reason. So it strengthens the sense of motivation, but also like your drive and your passion to accomplish it. If you're still stuck on how to figure out your why, here are some prompts so you can think about why do I want to achieve this goal? Where do I see it helping me in the future? What benefits can it bring to me? Does it make me feel fulfilled? Is society just pressuring me into doing it? That's maybe like a thought you can focus on when you're making the goal. Is it for you? Is it for society? Is it for your family? There should be a target, right? A very clear-cut target that isn't convoluted, isn't vague. So it can be a hitting point, kind of like a dart. So you're really hitting the goal because you have something that makes you want to do it every single day, or however often you aim to work on this goal. So I think this section is extremely important because I know everyone has seen videos on YouTube that say, you have to have grit and discipline, but I think some people just it doesn't work for them, and also they must have heard it so many times, and they want something fresh and new to think about when setting goals. So here's a framework, nothing messy, nothing mushy. It's very straight to the point and very methodical. So you may have seen the SMART model somewhere, but it's a very good framework if you use it correctly. So it helps you to visualize and digest whatever your objectives are. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And this is to describe the kind of objectives that you want to achieve. I know that businesses use this model in order to have business success. And so it can be applied to just about anything to achieve long-term goals, habits, short-term, temporary projects, achievements, just about anything. And I'm going to teach you how to use each abbreviation, how to make it specific, how to make it measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, and using it to make your goals seem less like a tall mountain and more like small, digestible, achievable portions. So obviously getting specific allows you to break the big, hard to digest, vague goals into smaller, achievable units. For example, instead of worrying about needing to study biology, you should break it down into the component or the unit that you want to study. For example, tell yourself you aim to study photosynthesis. And this is then followed by a measure of some sort, which can, in my given example, be answer 20 questions on photosynthesis. So you're having a clear objective, a clear, portion. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I need to study biology, you can say, first, I'm going to study photosynthesis and I'm going to do 20 questions. And if you think about how easy that is for you to process now, you can kind of see where this is going. It seems so much more achievable, and it can also give you, some sort of motivating feeling because you know that there's a set amount of questions you have to do. Or you can say, I'm going to do maybe an hour at the gym. So when you have a time, or some kind of measure to measure the small things you have to do to achieve your goal, it can make the goal much easier to achieve. Another thing that can really benefit is to embed it into your personal life. Instead of having your goals feel like something extra that you're carrying on your shoulders, if you're in this case of this biology example, in order to make it easier for you, make sure to set up your materials, your paper, your pens on a desk. Make your desk neat beforehand so it's much more motivating and your mind is clearer when you start the task. Same applies if you want to go to the gym. Maybe the night before you can lay out your gym clothes on your bed, and it makes it much easier to makes it much more easier to get to the gym, which if you do it frequently enough, it can add up to contribute to the larger goal. Ensuring what you're doing is relevant to your motive or your goal is very important, as it allows you to not waste time and just to get straight ahead onto the goal. For example, I'm studying photosynthesis for my goal to get better at biology for my exam. So by relating it to the bigger picture, basically, which is for my exam, it helps me to not waste time and just be more snappy and clear when I'm working on the things that I have to do to accomplish my goal. Then the most important thing, which I guess it kind of ties into measure, so time bound, obviously, you have to set a time or kind of block the frequency of achieving your goal within the month, the year, the week. You can do this in many ways. You can say that I want to study biology for an hour 4 times a week. Or you can just say every day I want to journal for 10 minutes, or my target is to go to the gym at least 15 days of the month. By setting this time, it keeps you accountable, it keeps you on your toes, but when it all ties in together with your own motive, it makes it much easier to get started, and it's more embedding it into your own personal life. And this can be made easier by having a journal on hand, by starting, setting up your Google Calendar, doing something that really incorporates it into your daily movement. instead of making it seem like something that you're just carrying. It doesn't have to be very technical. It can vary. It can look very different depending on if it's a small goal, a big goal, as long as you are dedicating your time to the goal in their respective days, weeks, hours, however that you think is better for you. Now, this entails efficiency. And obviously being efficient is a very important part, but realistic expectations are even more important, I feel like, because obviously being realistic means that you're not expecting yourself to do something very over the top that will make you burn out. For example, if your goal is to become a piano prodigy, it is unrealistic to set this goal within 2 months. But to make it realistic, I think what you should do is kind of check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what is my limit? Ask yourself, what is something that I know I can achieve that will guarantee me some kind of outcome. For example, if you really want to study hard, to do well on an exam that is in a month, I think if you know you're someone who just cannot handle studying more than maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, then telling yourself to study 7 hours a day is not going to help you accomplish your goal. You're going to burn out. You're not going to be motivated at all, no matter what you do, to continue studying. And worst of all, the information that you learn isn't going to be retained in your working memory. And I had to learn this the hard way, because when you panic study, I think your working memory just stops functioning if you're not having enough breaks. So making sure you have breaks and you're making sure that the goal isn't interfering with you in an emotional way or psychological way guarantees that you have some sort of outcome. This is difficult, right? Not all of us can stick to our goals so religiously. We falter sometimes. Some months may look less achieved or completed, and some months may be more productive. However, I think one thing for sure is that you need mental strength, you need integrity in order to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Understanding your true intentions as well. Like I said, sticking to your motives, making sure that it's not a burden on you, it doesn't interfere with your personal life, your social life, and pair this with your daily routine. I know I've talked a lot about pairing it with your daily life, embedding it, but instead of saying that you need to do this, you need to achieve this goal, you should change it to maybe I am someone who does this. By making it seem like you're already that person that is already part of you in your daily life, it can really bring you more confidence to continue working on that goal, because you now identify yourself as a person who achieves this goal, who is actively working on the goal. A way that you can embed this into your daily life is, for example, if you're on the bus, you should read a book instead of doom scrolling if your goal is to read books. If you're on your lunch break, you can practice some drawing if that's your goal. If you have a free period at school, you can use it to work on an essay, something that you think is very convenient for you, but also allows you to achieve your goals, which can work kind of as a cheat system. If this doesn't work for you, something that's also really good is creating an accountability system. And this can be by studying with a friend, it can be going to the gym with your family, it can be using timer apps like Flora or Study Bunny, something like that times you. So obviously the pressure of seeing a clock will make you want to work faster. Or you can make a compromise system, which is where you allow yourself a treat if you work consistently on that goal. Also, trust your gut. So you should know when to take it slow, know when to accelerate, because obviously if you feel sluggish one day, you won't be giving a good outcome on that day, even if you try to push yourself to what you usually do, what your usual maximum is. You're much better off, and you would give better results by just putting in the effort that you're able to give that day, because forcing never helps. Forcing will always make you more demotivated and will make you burn out at the end of it. Make sure to be flexible with your methods, timings, maybe scenery, because obviously when we talk about goals, it's a repetitive process. It's a process that we are consistently working on. So to make it seem less like a monotonous kind of repetition, you should maybe change up the place that you're doing this goal, or the clothes that you wear when you're trying to do this goal, or the times, the method. I can't get into specifics because there are many different goals, but this is just basically to stay motivated and to reduce your boredom. You should be able to expect and plan when obstacles or unexpected things occur. You can just be mentally preparing yourself, thinking about the worst things that are going to happen in the midst of achieving this goal, and using that to make peace, so that when it does happen, you're not surprised and you're not thrown off course, and you're able to slowly build yourself back up. A very strong factor, especially these days on social media, is dealing with comparison. We see so many people these days that are just accomplishing so many things. They seem like they're super smart, or they've just accomplished 10 times the amount of things that you would have done in your entire lifespan. But you have to accept you are not the same as the next person. You have to trust in the impact of your own systems. Don't feel threatened by other people's success, because the way they do things may be different to you, and you don't have to follow someone else's pattern, method, their lifestyle at all. You have to, again, trust your gut, follow what makes you successful, what makes you feel accomplished. Obviously, what we see on social media is just a highlight. Maybe they also went through a tough time comparing themselves to more successful people, trying to figure out their own individual method. And so you're already ahead if you've just begun working on your goal. There's absolutely no need to compare yourself, because I guess the brutal truth is there will always be someone who is better or more consistent, but that should not be the goal. Your goal is not to be the best, it's not to be the most consistent, it's just to gain some kind of experience in the goal that you want to achieve. No matter how big or small your goal is, I want you to remember, make sure that you're at least trying, that you're staying realistic to yourself, and you're setting your goals in a timely, organized, smart manner. Good luck on achieving your New Year's resolutions, your goals, your aims, all the habits that you want to incorporate in the new year. And if you have any suggestions, or you want to start any discussions in the comments, that is very appreciated. Thank you for watching.